Leave. Now. My dad said that at 7:12 p.m. on a Sunday, in front of my brother, in front of my brother's new wife, in my own living room. Not a discussion, not a request, an order. The clock above the fireplace was still ticking when he pointed toward the hallway, like I was a guest who'd overstayed. I was 29 years old, and I was the only reason the mortgage had been paid on time for the last 18 months. What he didn't know was that leave goes both ways. 30 days later, the bank didn't knock. They posted. Before I take you further, if you've ever been the reliable one who gets dismissed the second someone better walks in, hit like, subscribe, and drop your city and local time below. I read them. I want to know who's here with me. My name is Lauren Whitfield, and this is what happens when the daughter you humiliate controls the loan. My brother Caleb showed up that evening with his wife, Marissa, and a folder. That folder mattered. I didn't know it yet, but I would. Dad stood by the kitchen island like he was hosting a press conference. "Caleb and Marissa are moving back," he announced. I blinked. "This is my house, too," I said calmly. "Technically true. Co-signer, co-borrower, 50% liability." But Dad waved his hand. "We've decided it's best if you find your own place." We. Interesting word. I looked at Caleb. He didn't meet my eyes. Instead, Marissa slid the folder across the counter. It was a refinance proposal. New loan structure. Caleb as primary borrower. Dad as co-signer. My name removed. Submission date? Friday. 2 days before I was told to leave. The application required one final signature. Mine. At 7:12 p.m., Dad told me to vacate the room. At 7:14 p.m., I understood the timing. This wasn't emotional. It was procedural. Step 1. Replace Lauren on the mortgage. Step 2. Remove Lauren from the house. Step 3. Call it family realignment. I picked up the folder, closed it, and said one word. Okay. But okay wasn't compliance. It was countdown. 30 days. That's how long it takes for a missed payment to trigger default notices. By 9 a.m. Monday, I'd opened my laptop. Title, Mortgage Contributions, L. Whitfield. Column A, Payment. Column B, Date. Column C, Amount. Column D, Source. 18 months of payments. $2,460 per month. Total, $44,280. Property taxes advanced twice, $7,900. Insurance shortfall covered, $2,300. Grand total contributed, $54,480. And here's the detail they forgot. While Caleb was listed as future primary borrower on the refinance application, the current mortgage was in my name and Dad's. Caleb wasn't on it yet, meaning the refinance had to close before I was removed, and refinance approvals don't close if the current loan is flagged. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I called someone else. Her name is Denise Harper, real estate attorney. Precise, quiet, dangerous in paperwork form. I explained the timeline. She asked one question. "Did you sign the refinance consent?" "No." "Good," she said. "Then don't." That sentence shifted everything. "You don't need to fight them," she continued. "You just need to stop holding them up." What my dad didn't know was that I wasn't just paying the mortgage. I was also the one receiving the lender's correspondence. Primary contact email, primary phone, primary authorization. 2 days before the leave speech, that email had been changed to Caleb's, without my consent. I logged into the lender portal. Submission timestamp, Friday, 3:42 p.m. Contact email modification request, 3:45 p.m. Refinance pre-approval letter generated, 4:12 p.m. Everything happened before Sunday dinner. The humiliation was scheduled. And that's when it clicked. They weren't just moving me out. They were trying to move me off the paperwork. Small problem. I work in compliance. And email authorization changes require dual verification, which meant someone had simulated my consent. I pulled the authorization document. There it was. My signature. Almost right. Except my L loops open. This one was tight. Closed. Familiar mistake. 30 days. That's how long I gave it. And I didn't lift a finger to stop what was coming. Day 1 after leave now. I moved into a short-term rental across town. Not dramatic, not emotional. Strategic. Because here's what Caleb didn't understand about mortgages. Refinances don't magically erase existing obligations. They require clean payment history. No disputes, no flags, no inconsistencies in borrower authorization. And right now, there was an inconsistency. The lender called Tuesday morning, 9:18 a.m. Miss Whitfield, we received a refinance request listing you as consenting to removal. We need verbal confirmation. I let a pause sit between us. I did not consent. Silence. Then typing. Understood. We're placing the refinance under review. Review. That word matters. Because review means delay. Delay means extended underwriting. Extended underwriting means risk exposure. And risk exposure makes lenders nervous. By Thursday, Caleb texted, "Why are you making this difficult?" Difficult. Interesting. "I'm not making anything," I replied. "I just didn't sign." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Then, "Dad says you're being selfish." There it was. Selfish. The word they use when access to your credit score is denied. Before I continue, if you've ever been called selfish for protecting your own financial stability, drop a comment below. I read every one. And if you're still here, subscribe, because this part gets louder. Day 12. The refinance stalled. Underwriting requested additional verification of borrower authorization. They asked for IP logs tied to the email change request. The lender's fraud prevention unit got involved. Why? Because the consent form had been uploaded from a device not previously associated with my account. Device ID traced to Caleb's laptop. Timestamp: Friday, 3:46 p.m. 1 minute after the contact email change. Sequencing again. Step 1. Change contact email. Step 2. Upload removal consent. Step 3. Humiliate the co-borrower publicly so she doesn't push back. Except I did. Quietly. By not cooperating. Day 18. The lender issued a notice. Refinance application suspended pending fraud clarification. Which meant Caleb and Marissa's plan to take over the house was frozen. Meanwhile, the original mortgage payment came due. $2,460. Dad assumed I'd pay it. I didn't. Because here's the part he forgot. I wasn't legally required to keep voluntarily covering the entire balance. I had been doing that out of stability, not obligation. The payment window closed on day 22. Late fee assessed. Day 25. Formal late notice issued. Dad called. First time since 7:12 p.m. "Lauren, what are you doing?" "Following your instructions." "This isn't a game." "No," I agreed. "It's math." He inhaled sharply. "The bank sent a notice." "They do that when payments are missed." "You've never missed a payment." That was before I was told to leave. Silence. Real silence. Day 27. Caleb posted on Facebook. Funny how money changes people. 47 likes. Aunt Melissa commented, "Families should stick together." I didn't respond. Because you don't correct narratives online. You correct them in conference rooms. And Denise had already scheduled one. Day 30. Default notice. Not foreclosure yet, but the first official escalation. And when lenders see fraud flags and payment instability simultaneously, they don't negotiate gently. They accelerate. The meeting was set for Friday at 2 p.m. Dad, Caleb, their attorney, Denise, me. No shouting, no emotional rewrites, just documentation. 30 days after Leave Now, we were about to discuss ownership. Friday, 1:57 p.m., Harper & Cole Law Offices. Glass walls, long oak table, 6 chairs. Structure again. Dad sat stiff, jaw locked, Caleb beside him, Marissa clutching her purse like this was a social inconvenience. Their attorney flipping through a thin folder. Denise's folder was thicker. That mattered. Ground rules, Denise said calmly. No interruptions, documentation only. Raise your voice and we adjourn. Their attorney nodded. Because here's the truth. When fraud units are already involved, nobody wants theatrics. I slid a stack of papers across the table. 5 copies. Let's start with a number, I said. $54,480. 18 months of mortgage payments I covered. Property taxes, insurance gaps. Every transfer documented. Dad looked at the sheet like it was written in another language. I was stabilizing the loan, I said evenly, not renting a bedroom. Caleb leaned forward. You lived there. I also paid for it. Silence. I moved to the next document. Email authorization change request. Timestamp. Friday, 3:45 p.m. Device ID, Caleb's laptop. IP address, Dad's home Wi-Fi. Next page. Refinance removal consent form. Signature comparison. Left side, my authentic signature. Right side, the uploaded consent. My L loops open. This one was tight. Closed. Forensic handwriting review attached. Conclusion, simulated signature. The room shifted. Not loud, just heavy. Their attorney cleared his throat. This was likely a misunderstanding. Denise cut in smoothly. Uploading a simulated consent form while removing primary contact authorization is not a misunderstanding. She tapped the lender's fraud notice. It's a pattern. Dad looked at Caleb. What did you do? Caleb's confidence cracked. I was just trying to speed things up. Speed, yes. Speed is what people want when they're cutting someone out. I leaned forward. You told me to leave at 7:12 p.m. Sunday. The refinance documents were submitted Friday. The email authorization was changed minutes before the consent form upload. The humiliation was scheduled. Dad's eyes flicked to the table. He didn't deny it. He didn't apologize either. He went straight to leverage. Can we just fix this? He asked. Fix. That word again. Here's what fixing looks like, Denise said. She slid forward a document titled Withdrawal of Co-Borrower Support and Fraud Non-Prosecution Agreement. Terms. Caleb formally withdraws refinance application. Written acknowledgement of unauthorized signature submission. Immediate listing of property for sale. Lauren released from all mortgage obligations upon closing. No criminal referral filed, contingent on compliance. Caleb went pale. Criminal? Marissa whispered. Yes, because lender fraud isn't family drama. It's federal. Denise didn't raise her voice. The bank has already flagged the file. We are choosing not to escalate. Choosing. That word held weight. Dad swallowed. If we list the house, we lose it. You told me to leave, I said calmly. I'm just following through. 30 seconds of silence. I counted them, because silence is the moment people calculate consequences. Finally, their attorney spoke. My clients will agree to the terms. Caleb looked like he wanted to argue. Dad didn't let him. He signed. 30 days after, leave, now. The house was listed. Refinance, dead. Fraud investigation closed after written acknowledgement. No charges filed. The bank didn't physically take the house. They didn't need to. The listing sign in the yard did the work. It sold 6 weeks later. Lower than expected. Market softening. Timing unfortunate. Funny how that works. I signed the final release with my real signature, clean. Open loop on the L. And I walked away. Dad called 2 weeks after closing. I didn't think it would go that far, he said. It always does, when paperwork gets involved. He paused. I'm sorry. No but, just sorry. It didn't undo 7:12 p.m., but it acknowledged it. Caleb hasn't spoken to me since. Marissa blocked me. The Facebook narrative shifted from selfish to family restructuring. That's how people rewrite collapse, neutrally, conveniently. I used my share of released equity and the money I didn't spend covering their mortgage to buy my own place. Alone. No co-signers, no shared liability, no forced exits. The first night I slept there, I realized something. When someone tells you to leave, make sure they understand what you were holding up. Because I didn't burn the bridge, I stopped being the bridge. So let me ask you, if someone humiliated you publicly while quietly trying to use your credit behind the scenes, would you forgive? Or would you let the paperwork speak? Tell me in the comments. And if you've ever been the foundation they tried to remove, I see you. Subscribe. Because sometimes the bank doesn't take the house. You just stop saving it.